Okay, so London Flair have been really hitting me up with some good stuff lately. And yeah, they just passed to me a new short film from director Harry Brandrick. Brandrick? I feel that's how you say it. He actually wrote and directed this piece. It's called The Out. Okay. So yeah, the film is, as I said, written, directed by Harry. He also produces the film along with Jack Wright. It is executive produced by Grace Bridger, Catherine Crowell, uh, Rory Daniels, and Tom Ringsby. Kaya Fern Little handles the cinematography. Harry also edits the film. Louise Collins did the casting. Production design is Kingsley Gills. Or Giles. It can be pronounced different ways, I feel. Laura Valgio handles the makeup. And our cast. Well, Allan Mustafa plays Liam. Um, Kimberly Okie plays his ex Jade. Savannah Skinner-Henry plays their daughter Sofia. And Jamie Christopherson plays his friend Marcus. Okay, so the gist of the film is this: The Out follows Liam, a 35-year-old recovering heroin addict, as he looks after his young daughter for the first time since being out of prison and getting clean. These 24 hours see Liam piecing together the fragments of his life after prison and his complicated journey to recovery. So yeah, that's what this is. Now, we do have a director's statement, right? So, this is what Harry has to say. My dad was a heroin addict for most of his life and spent time in and out of prison. When he died in late 2018, I found myself reflecting on stories and memories from my childhood. As a storyteller and filmmaker, my own personal history is always the starting point of any idea, as I feel that it's personal stories that connect with audiences in the most impactful way. However, it's possible to use the personal as a vehicle to explore or comment on wider social issues. This is the kind of cinema that I connect with as a viewer and the kind of cinema I want to make. A combination of the personal and subtly political. Years of austerity have seen public services stretched to breaking point, and those who rely on them have had to endure years of suffering. The benefit scrounger or chab narrative perpetuated by the media has been successful in dehumanizing the vulnerable. People like the film's two main characters, Liam and Marcus. I want to make a film that's poetic, nuanced, and hopeful, as well as truthful and respectful to the real life struggles people face. We're starting to see progressive drug policies in other countries, but in the UK, we still criminalize addiction when at its root, it's a social, psychological issue. So, yes. I mean, I think the laws on marijuana, right? Weed, I think they've been relaxed slightly. It's still illegal, but chances of getting arrested is, yeah, it's not as much that anymore. Heroin, heroin's the tricky one. You know what I mean? I like I can definitely see the argument to legalize all drugs, right? But I think when it comes to the hard stuff like heroin, that's where you get that sticking point where people will push back on the notion of, you know. But yeah, this film, like, it opens up and we have Liam go to a cupboard, right? And he opens it up and it's full of like the I think it's methadone, right? Methadone, I think they use to help heroin addicts. So it's full of that. So okay, yeah, he's been on some top stuff, right? And then he scratches his leg and his trousers come up and you see the prison tag thing on it. And so yeah, just through those things you understand that he's getting off drugs, right? And he's been in trouble with the law. We don't know necessarily what that trouble is, or what the situation is, but we know he's been in trouble, right? And there's this nervous energy about Liam, you know. So yeah, he talks to we see him standing outside talking to a neighbor, and then when you see a woman and a little kid coming, you be like, okay, right. And you understand, right, where that nervous energy is coming from. So I think Harry does a good job, because you can see, right, it's not a high budget here, right? Minimal locations, but he utilizes those locations well, you know? There's times when we see them go and leave the flat, but it's cut in a way so, you know what I mean? We have them coming back or we have them going. It's utilizing the space so we understand that, yeah, a trip has been made. You know what I mean? Then it's just utilizing things like the balcony and stuff like that. So yeah, it's handled very well in that regard. And as I said, you can feel that tension, right? That anxiety that Liam is obviously facing because, as in the description, right? It's saying this is the first time he's seeing his kid. And I have to say, it was very civil between him and Jade. You know what I mean? Um, but you can see there's a little hesitancy there. That was handled really well. Actors did, they relayed the emotions in that scene extremely well, you know? And then you've got little Sofia, right? Who, yeah, performances from little kids can be very up and down, but this is very tempered, you know what I mean? We have her, it was a very nice scene where she like lays a hand on Liam's shoulder, right? After something that's gone down. And it's just it's the nuance of the thing, right? There's these little subtle touches that Harry throws in there that, yeah, let the viewer connect with this emotionally, you know? I mean, you do wonder what Liam's thinking because, like, the whole Marcus, you know what the fuck's gonna happen there. You know what's gonna happen. It's just like, yo, Liam, what are you doing, man? Like, come on now. This is not gonna be a good situation. But again, Marcus, that situation is done well because, like Christopherson, he lets us in on this guy Marcus, who is clearly, like, just watching just the way he is, right? That nervousness, that weird pent up energy. You know he's on something, right? You know he's jonesing, right? And so the interaction between him and Mustafa, yeah, again, that's handled very well. Now, there are a few occasions where the conversation, the script feels a little bit, what I mean, stunted. What I mean, the flow of things doesn't quite work. But I will say, for the most part, this, you know what I mean? It relays the story very well. You know, we don't necessarily get all the information that's in the synopsis. So we don't really know, okay, he's just out of jail, right? We don't really know he's how long he's been off heroin, right? Or how long he's been in jail, because yes, he's not taking heroin in jail. You know what I mean? So how long was he in for? Right? We don't necessarily know. We know he's been in because Marcus references not going to visit. So it was some sort of stretch, but we don't necessarily know how long. So there is a few things which may help with the story, but what we do get, we can ascertain a lot, right? We can ascertain a lot. We can see that he's trying to get his life back together. He's trying to make these right steps. Things perfect, aren't perfect, but he's trying. So yeah, this, it's definitely powerful, right? Definitely powerful. And I think Harry is able to convey a lot of the stuff that he mentions in his statement. There's obviously things, because we don't, as I said, we don't know why Leon went to jail. We don't know, Marcus's full situation. How is he trying to get off drugs and just all of this. So the perception of them, it is a little tricky, you know, and we don't really, there is nothing on the public services, right? So we don't know the difficulty they may have faced in that regard, but everything else, I think Harry does a very good job. The cast do a very good job. Cinematography, costume, like all of that handled really well. It creates a vibe. You understand, you feel it, you are emotionally connected. So, people, if you get an opportunity, definitely check out The Out. Yeah, just under 15 minutes. So, hey, you'll have time. You'll have time. And it is just another demonstration of some of the very rich short films that have been hitting us this year. So yes, The Out.